Today is my first day at the United States Probation Office, and I'm looking forward to sharing the vision of SAVE and allowing them to see my commitment to going out and trying to help save the children that's in Charlotte. It's very distressing, our homicide rate, and I had a great meeting last night with former Detective McFadden, and he has made a commitment to work with me, and he has expressed a commitment to take action by running for sheriff, and we look forward to supporting him and helping him in whatever way we can. And I am just ecstatic to be blessed, to be free, and able to go out here and do the work that God has allowed and prepared me for. And I look forward to sharing with each and every one of you the results and to get your involvement in it. Thanks. Thug. That's why I'm a thugologist. When it comes to thugs, I know the cause and the cure of it. And the most important thing that you have to do is listen. The problem that's been happening is everybody going in there talking, telling them, you gotta do this, you gotta do this. No, you don't understand the problem because you don't understand the individual. Once you take time out and you ask the right questions, then you're gonna get the right information. It's like a doctor that goes in and you first have to have a discussion with the patient. Okay, well, tell me a little bit about what's going on, and then you diagnose, then you direct them on how to prevent this from happening in the future. Everybody know the resource officer, the teachers, the principal, everybody know the ones that got the problems. But they was just going in there and being monitored. The behavior that got them in there was not being addressed. They would just say, go in there and do your work. Then they go right back. Like I said, they act up in this class, they got the bounce chair. They just bounce them over in this chair. How does that address the behavior? Nobody is talking to them to try to reverse the behavior. So we came up with an incarceration prevention class model that deals directly with the behavior, which is rooted in the character. Chief Putney, when I got out, he was at Little Rock. He was on the panel, him and Judge Curity. And I had called his office when I got out, and I said I would like to work with, work in the schools and help save the kids. Well, unfortunately, the lady on the phone, the secretary, told me there was nobody I could talk to. So I put him on blast at Little Rock Church. I said, he understand. I said, man, I called your office and I asked to talk to, I said, give me anybody that's willing to work with me to help save the kid. I said, she wouldn't let me talk to nobody. But if I was calling to try to incarcerate him, I could talk to any one of the people that's on your force. So he said, oh, we ain't gonna do that. If you trying to work, let's work. And he took me outside and he gave me a cell phone number. He said, this day for you deal directly with me. It's me and you, we gonna do this, let's do it. And since then, we've been like hand in glove. I specialize in the worst. I want the ones that nobody else want to deal with. The ones that's putting their hands on other people. The ones that's the most threatening to public safety. Those are, because they used to be me. So those are the ones that I specialize in. Once they put me in solitary confinement, and they was feeding me through a trap, and they was toting me around with chains like a dog, I thought I was an animal for real. Because all we did was yell and scream on the range all day like barking dogs in the yard. They can't get nowhere. So what Chief Putney and I came up with was, we only two people. We can't be everything to everybody. But what we can do is create a model that works. So right now, we're in the process of mastering the model. We're so that we'll be able to train the trainers.
Okay.
We're gonna go school by school.
They really, really love him. I'll brag on him a little, but I was just telling him, and Dion knows too, how they were just so receptive to him because this didn't start off as his group. And I'll say, my group that I have, they're lively. And they're not troublemakers, but they like to joke and kid around. But when he comes around, they get serious. But I think the biggest thing is that he listens to them. He gives them a voice. They can express themselves, and then he gives them life lessons.
Okay.
And you know, this morning I think he asked, "What have you learned from the group?" And unanimously it was how to be a man, how to be respectful, how to, you know, the CEO of your own life.
Yeah.
And I was like, who is this? Like, I'm on the laptop like, and then, you know, them share, you know, he asked, what do you want to be in life? And they're like mechanical engineers and IT, and, you know, I went to do sports. Yeah. And so he said, you know what, my goal, yep. And he listened to everything they said, and he said, my goal is to get you guys connected and help you to achieve that goal. So it's like, not only did he listen, but then he's like, okay, let me be proactive and helping you make that goal. And so they really like are clinging to him and love when he comes. And they didn't want to leave when the bell rung, not just because they didn't want to go to class, but they were like, no, we got to talk, we got to talk. So, you know, it's just good, I'll say, to see them be able to connect to somebody who understands them. Because a lot of people want to volunteer, and a lot of people want to make a group, but it's like, is it really helping?
Can I say something quick? So we have several groups that come here, and have been coming here since September, okay? Cedric has been here, what, this is, I think, the third week.
When you say other groups, you mean
other organizations.
Not your group.
Right.
Not affiliated with you.
Right.
Okay.
And so, but the credibility that he brings, it's instant credibility, instant connection. We took him to Sedgefield Middle School. That's the other group, one of the other groups I have.
Right.
He was there one time. That was about, what, two weeks ago now? And the kids still talk about it. And so he brings something that neither one of us could speak to. You know what I'm saying? It's like, even, and as much as I want to be able to have that kind of impact, he just brings a credibility that none of us bring, right? And so I think that's what makes him so much more impactful. When he speaks, he's very insightful, can speak to where they are in their life.
My first conversation with the judge was him giving me time. I don't want that to be these young people first encounter. Y'all have to do that. Y'all have to be there for one another. To let them know what? That you care.
I was listening to what she said, and I was holding this grudge with my dad because of something that happened way back then. And I just realized my dad only said and did the stuff that he did because he cared and he was trying to keep me and then not let these people show.
Powerful.
Go ahead.
Because my mom, she doesn't like to show me her emotions. So she always like to, I think it's called tough love or something.
Yeah, that's exactly.
She don't never like to show me her emotions, so she was just trying not make it seem like she's a weak person.
We gotta change each other.
That's right. And you know what? We gonna become the change that we seek to see in Thomas. You become that change. In 4 weeks, right?
Make a change.
And guess what? After the 4 weeks, we're gonna take, now y'all gonna be like mentors. Y'all gonna be the ones that's gonna help us to spread this out through the school to help other people and become that change. But we gotta start somewhere.
Oh, say it again, Ray.
What else?
That's
What else?
sweet.
Don't over there.
Don't make me cry.
Right.
Don't
Don't make me cry.
See, and that's all we be wanting at the end of the day. We gotta come home and say sorry.
Now see.
But you know our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a sense of pride to make it easier. Let the children's laughter remind us how we used to.
That's what he got.
1, 2, 3. Make change, make peace. Thursday.
Line up at
Okay, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go get the principal, and I want you to tell her that you just said that you wanted to see me end up dead in jail.
No, you said that yourself.
No, this is what you just said, and I'm gonna go get the principal right now.
No, you arguing with me. Referral. Get out. Go to Mr. Hill.
Okay. Now, when you get in class and you having a bad day, you know what happens? The teacher will sit there and want to just get you out the class. Get you out the way. Teachers not counselors, they're not social workers. So what happens is you get put out the class, right? Now you sit in Mr. Hill room, and then in order for them to justify getting you out the class, what happens? Sometimes the truth don't always get out. Sometimes you have to mix a little lies in with the truth, right? So what you have to do is you have to know how. Go ahead. You have to know how to defend yourself. So when you write down this piece of paper right here, the first thing you always need to do is you need to put down what? The facts. The facts.
The date, the time, and the name.
Right. What's this right here? This is the date, right?
Yes.
On March 5th, at what time?
9 a.m.
Mr. Dean told me. Now this right here is a quote. Now, you put them in quotation marks because you saying this is what Mr. Dean told you, right? Now, who would you report this to?
Mr. Hill or administrator?
Mr. Hill. Or,
The principal.
now, why would you?
Cause that's a bad stuff. Like she telling me to cuss at people like. Now if we was to cuss back at her. Now if we was to cuss back at her, she would have a big old.
Okay, now, so what I'm trying to explain to you is this. I sat in that room this morning. I seen 3 people coming there back to back. They had called their teacher a B, right? Now, on this report form, right? You for real? I'm dead serious. On that report form that I seen in there, you know what it had on there? Everything that the student said.
The teacher said.
It didn't have nothing that the teacher said. The teacher not gonna put on there what she said that led to the circumstance of the situation. So what you gotta make sure you start to understand that this is called conflict resolution. In order for you to go in there and stop having these issues that you're having with these teachers, whenever a problem arises from the beginning, you have to make sure that you document it, and you have to make sure that you go to Mr. Hill or whoever you need to talk to and say, look, on this day right here, my teacher told me this right here.
Like, Doctor should be making up the like when she calling our mama and we just be looking at her face like, oh, he being disrespectful, look at me, I'll be down and stuff.
Now, why do you think she's saying that? Go ahead. She ready to get you out of the classroom. Why she want to get you out of the classroom?
Because she don't like you.
No, it's not.
reduces us to one family already being impacted.
Today I'm asking for some consistent help with Quest.
This raw cell phone footage chronicles one mother's reality. Tiara Benson is speaking directly to the CMPD chief, pleading for help to save her son.
Quest is a bright kid. Quest is smart and he's intelligent. He has a really big heart to help others. But Quest has shown some issues in the classroom.
The single mother says the two of them don't live in the neighborhoods where CMPD has set up its new initiative. The recent effort is pooling resources to offer programs like mentoring or help finding jobs.
The help just hasn't been there. We come from quote-unquote middle-class family. You know, a lot of programs are geared towards low-income communities, but middle-class families have issues too.
Vincent says she met Cedric Dean, a former inmate now working directly with CMPD. He helped her record this message for Chief Putney, who heard her.
I was trying to keep from being so deeply involved in it, but it's my passion. So if we're going to be the catalyst to bring all the partners together, so be it.
Vincent says she's speaking for mothers just like her and for their children.
We've talked about like just having good behavior and not wanting to go to prison. And that's really all. Because me, I don't want to go to prison.
He's 12. In Charlotte, Deshaun Brown, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
What I'm committed to do is connecting the people with the passion to the people who need to stroke the check. We're blessed to have it. God bless it. God's good.
When Cedric was in prison, he wrote to me a couple times and we had a correspondence. So we had this initiative planned, and so for us, it's our dream to come true to give back and save the children.
I would like to make a plea for all the young men and women here in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm going to my church on behalf of my son. After I lost my husband, I asked for help for my son when the streets and gangs was trying to get him, and they told me that they had families of their own and they didn't have time. All I'm doing, I'm asking for help for my son and other people's sons and daughters here in Charlotte. I know that y'all able, and I'm pleading that y'all will help the children of Charlotte, North Carolina. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Quest, and I am the child of my mom, Tiara Benson. I'm 12 years old, and I don't want to go to prison. I want to be in a fraternity. I want to go to Ohio State University. And can you please just help me and my mother have the best lives we can have?
Quest was in in-school suspension last week. In-school suspension is something that has been at the forefront of my push to change in-school suspension to incarceration prevention. So I wanted to actually talk to an expert. And I say Quest is an expert because he was in there just last week, so he understands better than anyone what our current state of in-school suspension is.
Sure.
When you got in ISS, what did they do to get you to understand that you shouldn't be doing that? Did they just give you some work to do and say, here, do the work that you were supposed to be doing in school?
Yes, sir.
That's all they did?
Yes, sir. The lady, she called up a few people that had to do ISS for the whole day. But since I didn't have to do the ISS for the whole day, she just said, it's fine, I don't have to talk to you about anything. So all I just had to do was do my work.
She said, I don't have to talk to you about anything. All you need to do is do your work.
Yes, sir.
Now, what I've been trying to explain to our city officials is that we need to change in-school suspension to incarceration prevention, because what's happening is they're putting y'all in these ISS classes and say, just do your work. Well, you had behavior issues that put you in ISS, but those behavior issues are not being addressed. So what happens is those same behavior issues end up progressing And this is what develops the school to prison pipeline. And what did you just tell me a few minutes ago, that you don't want to do what?
I don't want to go to prison.
Tell him that again.
I don't want to go to prison.
He's 12 years old, and he's saying, I don't want to go to prison.
How better to understand the situation than to hear from someone who himself has been a part of it. What we're trying to do is, and Cedric will talk more in depth about it, is develop a character and a situation where people are much more in tune with the consequences of those bad choices, so we can stop them from making them repeatedly. If people continue to make them repeatedly, obviously, we're going to hold them accountable. That's the work we do in our priority offender work. But right now, what we want to talk about is just give you a snapshot of what this work looks like, dealing with youth from somebody who has credibility, somebody who's experienced it firsthand. At this point, I'll turn it over to you, Cedric.
Name is Cedric Dean, as Chief Putnam pointed out. And first thing I want to say is that this community empowerment initiative is real. It's very real. It was something that came up to me when I was in federal prison, when I seen all the violence. It was that one weekend in Charlotte, Memorial Day weekend, I think in 2012, they had 5 murders that weekend. And I had wrote the book, How to Stop Your Children from Going to Prison, How to Save Our Children from Crime, Drugs, and Violence. But I reached out to Chief Monroe at that time, and he wrote me back and he said, when you get out, come see me. Well, I didn't get out when I thought I was going to get out, but when I did get out, I went to see Chief Putnam, and I told him, you know, I really want to be a solutionary. I want us to be about solutions. There's a lot of problems that's going on in the community. I'm talking to the people, and we can solve those problems. So with Chief Putnam and myself, the very first thing he told me was, I want you to be straight up. So the campaign that we're going to be launching is called Straight Up, because we're going to get our children to be straight up with us. Right now, a lot of our children are on Facebook, and they're doing a lot of cyber gangbanging. They're following the wrong people on Facebook. So we're going to create a community where they can follow us to college, to careers that they need to go to. And I want to be perfectly clear that our goal is to help the parents, because the only way we're going to be able to save the children is through the parents. If we go over there and we provide these character building programs like we're doing in Lakewood and Hidden Valley, and then these children go back to disruptive households, it kind of cancels out what we're doing. So we want to make sure that we simultaneously help the parents as we help the children.
So what exactly is Straight Up about? What will you guys be doing?
We're going to listen, learn, and lead. Based on my experience, the first thing we have to do is listen to our children. Chief Putnam came out to our Save a Child program that we had on January 19th. And we had a panel of about 50, 60 children, and we listened to them, because the children are closest to the problem. And those that's closest to the problem is closest to the solution. So what we want to do is go out there and listen to our children tell us what are their problems. One of the key components of our Straight Up campaign is we're going to have these character education sessions where we allow our children to be in those difficult positions. We're going to role play. I'm going to be that drug dealer that comes up to them and offer them an opportunity to make $2,000 a day. And they're going to have to respond in a way that's most appropriate and accordingly, because most of them don't know what to say. So we're going to teach them how to respond to those difficult types of things. What's been happening, to be honest with you, is our police officers become our social workers. Social workers need to do the job of being social workers and let the police do the job of being police.
Kids who are only in trouble for?
No, it's for any parent, and this is personal with me. I had a 21-year-old cousin that my mother was struggling with. She didn't have nobody to help him. And she was calling and reaching out and asking people. And the biggest thing was that when I got out, he went in. He's sitting in a federal detention center right now. So I vowed that no parent in Charlotte, North Carolina will ever say that they don't have nobody to call. They can call me, and I will make sure that I get with whoever it is that's duty bound to help them in the community. And that's what my passion lies, to make sure that no parent, no child is left behind.
You said that the gangs are recruiting these young people on social media. How much of your effort will be on social media?
A lot of our effort is going to be, we're going to launch a social media campaign called Straight Up, like I pointed out earlier. But the biggest thing that we want to do is we're going to incentivize. We're going to go into the schools, go into the communities, get these children to where they understand that the police is not your enemy. I was told that the police was my enemy through rap music, NWA, F the Police. I never questioned that. So we want to get them to understand, how can somebody that's running towards bullets for you be your enemy? Then we want to get them to see that there's a lot of good officers out there in the community that's there trying to help them, mentor them, teaching them how to do sports and everything. We want to connect them with that. So the main thing to answer your question is, we're going to create a social media platform to where they get points. It'll be point-based marketing. So they will get points for being involved with our campaign. They get other children to take and follow us, then they'll get points for that. And we'll come to their school and do activities, whatever we can do to try to get them to following us instead of following the fool.
What do those points do? What is there a reward associated, or what does that mean?
Absolutely. For example, one school may want a program where they need us to come in and do a seminar or whatnot. So if you get a certain amount of points, we'll come in, we'll do a seminar for you. We got local entertainers that come in and donate their time to do performances. So we want to incentivize it to where the children can be involved. No involvement, no commitment. The commitment will come from the children having a voice. So they'll be able to go to their own community over here that's safe. We want to make clean and sober cool again.
Cedric, what's your story? What's the credibility you bring?
The credibility I bring is that at the age of 13, I was baptized in the streets, living the thug life, and by 15 I shot somebody, and I went to prison for robbery at the age of 16. I did 5 years, 6 months, and 4 days. I was out 11 months, and I was back in prison. And the reality is this right here. At that level in my life, I could get kids to rob, steal, and kill. And today, I can get them to stop because I understand what it's like to be them. In federal prison, I received a call to service and a civil service award because they had a lot of killings that was going on in federal prison. The wardens didn't know what to do, so they came to individuals like me, and I was teaching them characters, the characters they couldn't get from their home. They had a mother that was on drugs and a father that was in prison. So the credibility that I bring comes from the communication that I can have with these children, because when they see me, they see themselves, and they see what the end road is going to be. So I want to show them the mistake and not learn from my mistakes.
Let me touch on your other question about the point system. The goal is we're going to celebrate because obviously we get plenty of coverage when things go wrong. So the point system, A, tells us where we're gaining traction through the social media, but B, gives us an opportunity then to bring in people and celebrate. Cedric is very good with social media. He has some compelling stories where parents are already reaching out, one of which has a mom who's trying to do everything on her own, and her 12-year-old son. So we're trying to use those stories to gain the traction, and then we celebrate. We always have a youth symposium where people come out and see all the things that are available to kids. We also have scholarships for our Envision Academy that we're gonna fill up based on those that we connect with through the spring. Our goal is to be in contact with these kids throughout the year.
Black men out of a life of crime. The chief spoke at the department's weekly media briefing. This comes one day after he spoke with a local activist, Cedric Dean, about mass incarceration. He calls it a constant cycle of black men in and out of prison.
Our issue has been, if we're not careful, we create a cycle that continues to put a lot of young men, black men in particular, and Latinos behind bars.
Chief Putney says the department's mission of 2018 will be focused on the youth.
Faith leaders, community groups, even former inmates to try and get through to young people committing crimes. Eyewitness News reporter Deshaun Brown spoke to a man who served more than 20 years in prison and is now a part of an effort to save a child.
So I went to prison the first time when I was 16 years old.
Cedric Dean isn't shy about his story. The Charlotte native spent nearly half his life in prison. He's 45.
When I got sentenced, the judge told me that if you die and come back to life, you still got 5 years to do.
22 years later, he's home.
I had a praying mother that never gave up on me.
Dean says his work now is to help find solutions in the same community where he was a part of the problem. He's wearing that mission close to his heart. Save a child.
I was that person that the warden would work directly hand in hand with. And he would say, you know what? Dean right here, he is closest to the problem. So he is closest to the solution. And that's what Chief Putney has subscribed to.
CMPD Chief Kurt Putney voiced his support for the initiative, but he's also included it in an existing program he announced last summer. Together, they'll work with officers, educators, professionals, and the local church. It's a chance Dean wasn't sure he'd ever have.
It's surreal.
And perhaps a new ending to his story.
I'm not a psychologist, I'm a thugologist, because when it comes to thuggery, I know the cause and cure because that was me.
And along with Chief Putney, the district attorney and Mayor Pro Tem both came here to show their support. But Chief Putney put out another call for help. He's asking for funding to help fund some of these community initiatives. He says they have a lot of workers right now. They need investors. Reporting in North Charlotte, Deshaun Brown, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
This is Ron Holland of Old School 105.3 and Praise 100.9. I am the Public Affairs Director for our station, and I am truly excited about this opportunity that you will have in touring our facility. We have Praise 100.9, Old School 105.3, and 92.7 The Block. You will have an opportunity to tour this facility. You will be able to meet some of our talent here, as well as be able to actually see the intricacies of radio. One of the things that I'm absolutely excited about radio is that it is an intricate process. We learn how to do commercials, we learn how to record commercials, we learn how to produce commercials, as well as, of course, we have our own radio shows. We get an opportunity to talk with a lot of celebrities. And one of the things that I am offering you to come to the studio, see what we do. You'll have an opportunity to actually see the board work that we do. We actually have programs here at the studio and software programs so that you can actually learn how to put together commercials. You're going to learn that process. Not only just touring the facility and learning the process of putting together commercials, we're also going to have a video presentation to get you excited about a career in radio. I hope that you are excited about a career in radio, because radio and television is an absolutely wonderful field and wonderful career. So I'm looking forward to meeting all of you when you tour our facility. I'm Ron Holland, Old School 105.3 and Praise 100.9, Charlotte, North Carolina.
It was important for me to bring Mr. McFadden up here today, because at the end of the day, all of this was a thought in the jail cell. And now to actually see it coming into reality, the fact that we have a partnership for our classes at Martin Luther King, for our students over at Thomasboro, we have an actual partnership to bring them in these radio stations and help and allow them to learn the art and the craft of it. I mean, it's just remarkable, and it's just a testimony of the faith that we have, that we can make this happen, man. It ain't about what you say, it's about what you do. It's about putting in that work.
Putting in that work.
Putting in work.
Cedric, one of the things that we'll also do, they come in for the tour, we'll have a video presentation for them on the screen as well.
I mean, that's
so, yeah, so
appreciate it, man.
Yeah,
We're gonna look forward. Y'all got something to work towards now.
Absolutely.
Only way you gonna make it if you stay out of trouble and be good.
That's exactly right.
All
So
right.
we get an opportunity to meet some folks here in our boardroom, all right?
All right.